I stood at the threshold of my childhood home, heart pounding like the turbines I had once envisioned harnessing the winds above the clouds. The vast expanse of the barren field before me was a stark reminder of the life I had left behind. A life where my dreams were met with ridicule, where my ambitions were belittled as nothing more than a whimsical fantasy. High-altitude wind energy? You're kidding, right? My father's voice echoed in my mind, filled with a mix of derision and disappointment. You'll never make it, and you'll only embarrass us. Those words had stung like 1,000 bee stings, each one reminding me of my so-called failures. I had been ousted from my position at the elite renewable energy firm by my closest friend, a betrayal that felt like a knife twisting in my gut. But rather than crumble, I had taken that pain and transformed it into something powerful. I had poured every ounce of my energy into proving them wrong, into creating a future that would change the way the world viewed renewable energy. Years had passed, and I had turned the impossible into the possible. I had pioneered a network of high-altitude wind farms that not only generated electricity, but also revitalized entire communities, transforming barren landscapes into thriving ecosystems. My name was now synonymous with innovation and resilience. Yet as I prepared to step inside, the weight of my past loomed heavy on my shoulders. I pushed the door open, and the familiar scent of home washed over me, sweet and nostalgic, but laced with the bitterness of memories I had fought so hard to escape. My family was gathered in the living room, their laughter falling silent as I stepped into view. For a heartbeat, time stood still. Their eyes widened in disbelief, as if they were staring at a ghost from their past. "Is that—" My mother's voice trailed off, her expression a mix of confusion and curiosity. "Yeah, it's me," I said, forcing a smile that felt more like a mask. "I'm back." Back? My younger brother, the one who had once called me a fool for chasing a ridiculous dream, looked me up and down, disbelief etched across his face. "What are you doing here? Didn't you fail?" Their mocking laughter from years ago echoed in my ears, but this time I was no longer the vulnerable girl they had scorned. I was a woman who had built a legacy, and I was here to show that just how wrong they had been. "Actually," I said, my heart racing with adrenaline, "I've just returned from a conference in Europe where I was awarded the Innovator of the Year for my work in high-altitude wind energy." The words spilled out, each one a small victory against the tide of their past derision. A silence fell over the room, thick and heavy. My father's brow furrowed, and I could see the wheels turning in his mind as he struggled to reconcile the daughter he had dismissed with the woman standing before him. "You're joking," he finally said, though his voice trembled with uncertainty. "No joke." I reached into my bag and pulled out the glossy brochure from the conference, showcasing my wind farms in all their glory. Pictures of turbines soaring high above the clouds, generating clean energy for remote communities. I turned barren lands into thriving ecosystems. This is real. As I passed the brochure around, I watched their faces shift from skepticism to awe. My mother's eyes glistened with unshed tears as she traced her fingers over the images. "You did this?" she whispered, a hint of pride creeping into her voice. "Yes, I did. And you know what? You were wrong about everything." The room felt electric, charged with the energy of I could see my brother's face turning red as the realization of his past insults washed over him like a tidal wave. I didn't mean it," he stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. "I was just a kid." "Maybe," I replied, my voice steady but my heart racing. "But your words still hurt. They motivated me to prove you wrong. I had to turn that pain into purpose." A moment of silence stretched between us, heavy with the weight of unspoken regret. But in that silence, I also felt something shift, a recognition that perhaps my journey had sparked something in them too. "Can we see it?" my mother asked, her voice filled with a newfound enthusiasm. "Can we see what you've built?" I felt a smile break across my face, one that was genuine and free. "Of course, I'd love to show you. It's time you saw what's possible when you dare to dream." As we drove out to the wind farm, I shared stories of the challenges I had faced, the investors who laughed, the late nights spent perfecting designs, the skepticism from industry veterans who had called my vision impractical. With each mile, I felt the bonds of our family begin to mend, the past slowly fading into the background as we embraced the present. When we finally arrived, the sight before them took their breath away. Towering turbines spun gracefully against the azure sky, casting shadows over fields that had once been desolate. I watched as their eyes widened, the realization of my hard work settling in. "This is incredible," my father finally admitted, his voice laced with awe. "I never thought." "Neither did I interrupted gently, "but I believed in my dream, and that's what made it possible." In that moment, I saw the walls of doubt crumble, replaced by a sense of pride and understanding. My family had faced the consequences of their past derision, but they were also witnessing the power of resilience and redemption. As we stood together, watching the turbines dance in the wind, I knew that my journey was not just about proving them wrong. It was about inspiring them to believe in the impossible. Sometimes it takes a fierce wind to blow away the clouds of doubt, revealing a brighter future for all. And in that moment, I realized that my success was not just mine alone. It was a testament to the power of dreams, a reminder that it's never too late to change the course of your life and those around you.